go. That's a little better. Anyway, so yeah, recently or a couple days ago, I've had a spiritual awakening. As in, like, for the past few years, I've felt like, I don't even know, like I was stuck or just wasn't expressing myself to the fullest, spiritually anyway. And I was always, like, I was openly Wiccan. Like, I was out of the broom closet. I just never... Calvin is playing with his toys in a plastic bag. But I was just never, like, I never committed to living Wiccan. Just, I mean, and that's partly because I didn't grow up Wiccan. But, then it was also because I didn't really know how to incorporate it into my life. But, I mean, after you live it for, like, or after you believe in it for, 3, 4, 5 years, you should have a handle on it. And I just didn't progress as much as I would have liked in these past few years. And that was very frustrating. And I felt like I kind of failed as a practitioner, and I wasn't enough of a witch, and I didn't feel as magical anymore as I did when I first started. And I think I realized that another contributing factor to that, which I didn't know this, like, I knew that it was originally because I, wasn't living it day to day. I wasn't incorporating magic into my everyday life. I wasn't doing this, and this. But I didn't realize that it was also because of my fear of conflict with others. Whenever someone asked me, oh, what are you doing tonight? And it was a Sabbath or something like that. Oh, I'm just hanging out at home. Like, like, I would want to tell people, like, oh, I'm, celebrating my holiday today or whatever. But I never said it because I was afraid they're going to be like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, well, it's, Samhain or something like that. And I'm going to go home and pray to my dead ancestors or something like that. And because I was just afraid of losing friends, losing my job, being shunned by my family and stuff like that. And so I just I would bite my tongue when it came to stuff like that. And I was not fully expressing my true self. And that was hindering my spirit. That was hindering my spiritual growth. And I was just like, why am I spiritually hurting myself for the sake of others? And I'm not saying that we have to give, or that I have to give every single detail of everything that I'm doing, because some things should be private and some things, should be between you and Dee Dee. But at the same time, like, this is a part of myself. This is who I am. It's a big chunk of who I am. And I was not sharing that with the world. And it just felt like I wasn't allowing people to know who I am. And I wasn't allowing myself to express who I am. And so I couldn't grow as a person, because if I didn't express who I am, then I didn't define who I am, and I wasn't, like, projecting my true self, therefore I couldn't be my true self, and I couldn't grow as my true self, kind of thing. So yeah, just this past Samhain, I had this realization, and I felt like I could feel my heart chakra opening. That's the only way I can describe it, because I felt like something in the middle of my chest was trying to push out of my chest. And it was just this release of the fear, or at least part of the fear. I still have a little bit of fear, but I didn't fear it as much, and it didn't control me as much. Enough to where I could physically and spiritually feel it in my chest. This change happening. And it's very wonderful. It's very freeing. And I know it's scary, but it's not as scary anymore to be my full quirky self and just, talk about witchcraft and talk about Wicca and say Merry Yule. Like, I'm gonna do that this year. If anybody says Merry Christmas, I'm gonna say Merry Yule. And if they ask what the heck is that, I'm gonna tell them. And if they don't have a problem with that, then that's their deal. Because I have people in my corner now, and it's obviously, like, you don't need anyone's approval or anything, and the only opinion that matters is your own. But it's very helpful and encouraging to have people in your corner. I have my boyfriend in my corner. I have my coworkers in my corner. I've actually done a couple spells for a couple of my coworkers because they found out I read tarot, and then they're like, oh, read my cards. And so I did, and I read them twice, and each time they had similar questions, and it gave relatively the same answer. And so I was just like, okay, you girls are obviously not listening to these cards, so I'm going to give you a spell to help you I made them mojo bags. I'm going to give you something to help you progress towards what your goals are. And it's not so much like, like bring you what you want kind of thing. It's like I did the mojo bags that I did. One needed self-love and self-confidence that was her obstacle towards her goal. She had everything she needed to accomplish her goals and to get what she wanted, but because she didn't love herself, she was afraid that the other person wasn't going to love her, and because she didn't have the confidence to just go after it, that's why she wasn't getting what she wanted. So that's what my spell was geared towards, was getting over that obstacle. Same with the other gal. She was afraid of repeating past mistakes, and she had difficulty letting go of the past. So that's what her mojo bag was aimed towards, because that was the obstacle. Getting your desire, especially when you're doing spells for other people, getting to the outcome or their specific goals. It's really up to them, because they know what they want, what they need, what is best for them better than what I would know. I have my own my own intuition about what they need, or what they should desire, but that's none of my business. That's their journey. So my goal is to help them on their path. But anyway, so yeah, I did tarot readings, I did spells, another gal was feeling sick, so I made her a essential oil blend for to help relieve some swelling and stuff like that. And so it was just really nice that they were accepting, and they wanted my help, and that they wanted to ask me, and they wanted to come to me for advice, and using my witchy tools to help them and stuff like that. So it was very nice. And then, my boyfriend, he lets me today, he let me ramble about just stuff related to Wicca. And just we were watching scary movies, and we would make comments like, when we move in together, I'm totally going to cleanse our house so it's not going to get haunted and you're not going to get possessed. You're like, just funny stuff like that. But he doesn't believe in it. He's agnostic, and that's totally fine. I don't need him to be in the same religion as me. And he supports me in the fact that he listens and he understands and he comprehends and he knows how important it is to me, and he loves that I'm just me. And he's a gaming nerd, so he he already knows some of the Greek pantheon and all the different, some gods and goddesses and some practices and stuff like that, because games do incorporate a lot of historical, cultural stuff that we as Wiccans incorporate in our practice as well. So, he equated us casting circle to a summoning circle in gaming. So it's just he understands the concepts and he can see the logic in it, in that context. And that's all I could ever ask of anyone, is just understanding. So just having all of that in my life right now, helped me realize that, hey, people will accept you. Not everyone, but there are people that will accept you as you, but no one can do that if you're not being your true self. So, I know, honey. Mom's gonna turn off the lights, go to bed soon. So yeah, it was just very nice having that spiritual awakening. So I have a clear outlook. What are you doing? Hey, psst. Mister. Get off of the nightstand. Go for... He's not listening to me. So yeah. It's a change, and it's a good change. And I'm gonna ride this change and hopefully grow spiritually. And, since I'm in a good place and I have more time, then hopefully once again I will be able to make more videos, and hopefully you guys are not mad at me for dipping out for long periods of time. I have it sort of mapped out of what videos I'm going to do, because I have a lot of things I want to talk about. But all of that, all the juicy good stuff probably won't happen until Yule, just because I have a lot of things that I'm working on, projects, gifts for Yule, saving up for an apartment so my boyfriend and I can move in together in the spring, and that sort of stuff. So right now I'm just planning out videos, stuff I'm going to talk about, and I'll probably redo my tools and basic videos. I'm actually thinking about just doing a back to basics kind of series, which I think I mentioned 3 months ago when I was trying to do more videos before work got hectic. So yeah, tools, altar setup, holidays, full moons, that sort of thing. Gonna cover all of that again. Just because I think it's good to reaffirm your foundation. And you know what? I think I might actually do a rededication ritual here soon, just because I feel like it's appropriate. But I am making this way too long now, and it's really late and I gotta get up early. So I will see you all later. Blessed be.